and welcome to this week's 5 Things to Know for Tokyo 2020. I'm Ken Hanscom, and each week I take you through the latest news and stories happening on the road up to next year's event in 2021. Without further ado, let's get to this week's news, and here's number 1. It might seem crazy, but last week, Team USA Surfing held the very first training camp on the road to Tokyo 2021. In fact, it's the first training camp of any sport that we've heard of thus far. It happened last week, September 15th and 16th, in Waco, Texas, at the BSR Surf Ranch. Why the BSR Surf Ranch? Well, it's really interesting. Particularly at that ranch, they can configure the wave to be more like the waves that would be experienced by the team in Japan. So rather than going to Hawaii or a spot in California or somewhere else in Florida, they went to the ranch where they could have the most mimic type wave that could be surfed by the team to go ahead and prepare. And in other major news, Team USA Surfing also announced a multi-year deal with Hydro Flask that will run through next year through 2021 with the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Now on to number 2. This is likely to be a topic I cover every week or every couple of weeks, but seemingly we're getting some additional news on whether or not there'll be fans and spectators allowed at Tokyo 2020 next year. This article here talks about specifically that the Japanese Olympic Committee for Tokyo 2020 believes that they may have some view, maybe not the total quantities or the finite amounts of fans that will be there, but what fans can expect as we head to 2021 in terms of spectator capacity. That's definitely welcome news, as we're really not expecting the full details to be out until the Q1 of next year. The real question is when do we think we're going to get our next glimpse into that? And let's move on to number 3. So when is the next time we're likely to hear more about Tokyo 2020 and the plans for spectators and fans? Well, that opportunity is coming up fairly shortly. In just a couple of weeks, the IOC has their executive board meeting for October. That way they will be discussing Tokyo 20 among many other items that will be on the agenda. As that gets closer, I'll be sure to bring you the updates, but that was when we're most likely to get our next view in terms of how spectators are looking for next year. And now let's move to number 4. One of the topics I covered a couple of months back was a sheer demand that there was for the Tokyo 2020 volunteer program, with that program receiving several times over the number of applications that were spots. Well, recently last week, it was reported by a number of volunteers that they received a letter from the Olympic Committee. And as part of that, what they shared was that 20% of those who were expecting to be part of Tokyo 2020 as a volunteer are not able to attend in 2021. What we do not know yet is what that means. Whether or not they're actually going to open it up because they need to have that additional 20% to have additional volunteers, whether those will be international volunteers or only local. But as things develop over the coming weeks and months, and more is learned about spectators, the number of people that will be at the event, I'll keep you tuned in to what exactly is happening. And if there are opportunities to reapply for that program, I'll make sure you know about it first. Now on to number 5. Our last news item for this week comes from an Olympic program sponsor, Alibaba, and some new technology that they're going to be rolling out for Tokyo 2020. This new piece of technology is called the Fan Video Hub, and any of those experiences that you are sharing in venue, during an event, or after in the local area may show up on a video board that's in real time curating and showing those types of videos that you are producing. So next time you share video, when you're at an Olympic event, specifically at Tokyo 2020, you may look up on the board and see your video featured there. That's all for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week on 5 Things to Know for Tokyo 2020.